Okay, good evening, Ma'am Alfia and everyone. So we are from Group 10. We'll present our analysis on PT Unilever Indonesia Tbk and PT Indofood Sukses Makmur Tbk. Next slide. So here are our team members. I'm Nanda, and my other two friends is Shakila and Vanya. Next.
Okay, for the first company, we choose PT Unilever Indonesia Tbk. So PT Unilever Indonesia Tbk established on 5 December 1933. Now Unilever Indonesia has grown to become one of Indonesia's leading fast-moving consumer goods companies that always accompanies Indonesians in their daily life through products such as Pepsodent, Lux, Lifebuoy, Dove, Sunsilk, and many more. The Unilever Compass has the following three main focuses. The first one is improve the health of the planet. The second one is improve people's health, confidence, and well-being. And the third one is contribute to a fairer, more socially inclusive world. In Unilever Indonesia's business activities and products comprise the manufacturing, marketing, and distribution of consumer goods. Products manufactured by Unilever Indonesia can be divided into business line, home and personal care products, which account for about 73% of company's total sales, and food and refreshment, which accounts for the remaining 27% of sales.
Okay, so now let's get to know a little bit about PT Indofood Sukses Makmur Tbk. So PT Indofood Sukses Makmur Tbk, established in 1990, stands as a powerhouse in Indonesia's food manufacturing industry. And with its headquarters in Jakarta, the company has a broad range of food-related divisions, from raw ingredient production to finished consumer goods. Under its divisions, Indofood is known for producing iconic brands like Indomie, Citato, and Teh Botol Sosro, appealing to various tastes. Moreover, its Bogasari Flour Mills division is a leader in wheat flour production. Committed to quality, affordability, and nutrition, Indofood envisions continuous innovation and market expansion while maintaining ethical business practices. Sustainability lies at the core of its operations, focusing on responsible sourcing, community welfare, and environmental stewardship. Engaged in diverse CSR initiatives, the company actively supports education, healthcare, and local community development. As a publicly listed entity on the Indonesia Stock Exchange, Indofood exhibits strong financial performance and a global footprint, exporting products to numerous countries worldwide. Indofood's dedication to excellence, innovation, and sustainability solidifies its position as a frontrunner in shaping the future of the global food industry. Next. And then here is the analysis of the two company background. PT Unilever Indonesia Tbk and PT Indofood Sukses Makmur Tbk are two prominent business entities in Indonesia, operating in different yet significant sectors of the consumer industry. Unilever Indonesia, focusing on personal care products, household care, and food, is known for its strong brand portfolio and effective marketing strategies in the global market. Meanwhile, Indofood Sukses Makmur excels in the food and beverage sector with renowned brands in Indonesia, particularly in instant noodles and ready-to-eat products. While both have strength in their product portfolios, the main differences lie in their areas of focus and expansion strategies, which Unilever tends to target the global market with sustainable product innovations, whereas Indofood is more focused on the domestic market while expanding internationally, especially in the instant noodle and ready-to-eat food business. Next.
Okay, so here the horizontal analysis of PT Unilever and Indofood. The first one, we choose three component of asset: cash and cash equivalent, receivable, and inventory. Okay, so for the Unilever, in the midst of challenging business and economic condition, Unilever cash and cash equivalent in 2020 to 2021 decreased by 61.47%, mainly in operating activities. However, in 2021 to 2022, cash and cash equivalent increased by 54.64%. The increase was mainly due to increase in receipt from customer by 1 trillion and decrease in payment of corporate income tax of 89 billion. Unilever experienced a decline in trade receivable in the last 2 years by 14.71% and 13.11% respectively. It may happen because of the improvement of company's collection period. At the end of 2021 and 2022, the company's collection period was 45 days and 37 days respectively. Okay, so for the inventory, the company's inventory in 2021 is 2.5 trillion or decreased by 0.37% from 2022. The decrease in inventory is mostly due to decrease in work in process and raw material. However, in 2022, the company's inventory is 2.6 trillion or increased by 6.98%. The increase in inventory is mostly due to increase in finished good and raw material.
Okay, so I will continue the horizontal analysis of the asset account from Indofood. As we can see from the table, it shows that the cash and equivalent account in Indofood in 2020 to 2021 increasing by 70.03%. As at 31 December 2021, Indofood cash and cash equivalent increased to 29.48 trillion from 17.34 trillion in the previous year. Furthermore, in 2021 to 2022, the slight increase of 1.59% that occurred in the cash and cash equivalent account was a result of retention payment related to PCL acquisition paid in April 2022. The next analysis is for account receivables. From the table, we can see that the account receivables of Indofood in 2020 to 2021 is increasing by 18.62%, as Indofood total trade accounts receivable net as of 31 December 2021 was 7.63 trillion, of which around 79% were current. Furthermore, in 2021 to 2022, the account receivables was increasing by 8.58%, as Indofood total trade accounts receivable net as of 31 December 2022 was 8.28 trillion, of which around 80% were current. And the additional information that I got is that Indofood sales to related parties accounted for about 8.68% of the consolidated net sales for the year ended December 31, 2022, and it was 10.10% in 2020. The outstanding balances of the related trade receivables arising from these sale transactions of December 31, 2021, amounting to 1.39 trillion, and sales to related parties accounted for about 8.18% of the consolidated net sales for the year ended December 31, 2022. The outstanding balances of the related trade receivables arising from these sale transactions as of December 31, 2022, amounting to 1.47 trillion. The next account is inventory. From the table, it shows that Indofood inventory was increasing by 13.75% from 2020 to 2021 and 30.22% from 2021 to 2022. One of the reasons of the increase is related to inventories purchases from related parties accounted for about 0.53% of the consolidated total cost of goods sold for the year ended December 31, 2022, and it was 0.49% in December 31, 2021. Next.
Okay, so the next horizontal analysis is for the liabilities and equities component. We choose account receivable, account payables, non-current liabilities, and unappropriate retained earnings. Okay, for the Unilever, account receivable, Unilever trade payables in 2020 to 2021 increased by 6.87%. And in 2021 to 2022 increased by 2.81%. It may happen from purchase transaction. For the non-current liabilities in 2022, the company's non-current liabilities amount to 10.8 trillion or decreased by 18.40%. The decrease is mainly due to decrease in fixed asset and right of use asset. Okay, decrease in fixed asset was largely okay, for the non-current liabilities of PT Unilever in 2021, companies recorded non-current liabilities amounting to 2.3 trillion. The increase in non-current liabilities by 62.4 billion was mainly attributable to the increase in deferred tax liabilities and long-term employees benefit liabilities, non-current portion. As of 2022, the company recorded non-current liabilities amounting to 1.8 trillion. The decrease in non-current liabilities by 423.5 billion was mainly attributable to the decrease in long-term employee benefit liabilities non-current portion and lease liabilities non-current portion. Okay, so for the appropriate retained earning, Unilever experienced decrease by 12.97% in 2020 to 2021 by 7.84% in 2021 to 2022. A decrease in unappropriate retained earning occurred due to a decrease in profit in 2020 to 2021 and due to another comprehensive loss experienced by the company in 2021.
Okay, now we will see the horizontal analysis of the liabilities and equity account from PT Indofood. Indofood outstanding balances of the related trade payables arising from purchases transactions as of December 31, 2022, amounting to 134 trillion, which in December 31, 2021 is 122 trillion, and in 2020 is 79 trillion. In 2021, the increase in total current liabilities was mainly attributable to the retention amount in relation to the PCL acquisition due in April 2022, which was recorded as a non-current liability as of 31 December 2020. That's why Indofood non-current liabilities was increasing by 7.39% from 2022 to 2021. And then an increase of 8.10% in non-current liabilities of Indofood from 2021 to 2022 was caused by an increase in deferred tax liabilities of 2.16% and estimated liabilities for assets dismantling cost of 2.67%. Next account is unappropriated retained earnings. The increase occurred because Indofood approved the use of profit for the current year attributable to the owner of the company's parent entity for the 2020 financial year, amounting to 6.45 trillion, and for the 2021 financial year, amounting to 7.64 trillion, so that there will be an increase in the unappropriate retained earnings account from 2020 to 2021 and from 2021 to 2022. Next.
Okay, so the next one is vertical analysis. We choose three components of income statement, such as gross profit, net income, and marketing and selling expense. Okay, for the Unilever, Unilever booked gross profit of 19.6 trillion in 2021. Gross profit margin in 2021 is 49.6%, which also decreased compared to the previous year, mainly due to decreased sales growth in 2021. Gross profit margin in 2022 is 46.3%, which also decreased compared to previous year of 49.6%, mainly due to the increase in cost of goods sold in 2022. The increase in COGS was mainly due to increase in raw material prices in 2022. For the net income, Unilever net income in 2021 was recorded down 211 basis points compared to the 2022 to 14.63% of total sales. This decrease was mainly affected by decrease in sales, mainly in decrease in home and personal care segment. Unilever margin profit is in 2022 was recorded down 55 basis point compared to 2021 to 13.02% of total sales. This decrease was mainly affected by increase in cost of goods sold, as explained above. Okay, so for the expense, marketing and selling expense decreased to 19.89% of sales, mainly due to decrease in promotion activities during 2021, and increase in 2022 to 20.50% of sales, mainly due to increase in advertising and market research activity during 2022.
Okay, now we will discuss about the vertical analysis from PT Indofood. So we will talk about the net sales first because it will be the base for the vertical analysis. Indofood consolidated net sales has increased by 11.56% to 110.83 from 99.35 trillion in 2021, which driven by sales growth from most of its business groups. And during 2022, the company recorded overseas sales of around 25.65 trillion, representing approximately 23% of the consolidated net sales. Now let's see the gross profit margin from the total sales. Indofood gross profit has increased by 5% to 33.97 trillion in 2022, from 32.47 trillion in 2021. But however, the percentage of gross profit from net sales has contracted to 30.65% from 32.69% in the previous year, which was due to higher input cost. Next is the net income margin. Indofood net income has decreased by 18.14% from 11.23 trillion in 2021 to 9.90 trillion in 19 trillion in 2022. However, the percentage of net income from net sales has contracted to 8.29% from 11.30% in the previous year, and it is due to higher finance expenses amounting to 7.99 trillion in 2022. Last account is marketing and selling expense. Indofood marketing and selling expense has increased by 5.9% to 10.64 trillion in 2022 from 10.05 trillion in 2021. However, the percentage of marketing and selling expense from net sales has contracted to 9.60% from 10.11% in the previous year due to higher net sales portion. Next.
Okay, so the next one is liquidity ratio. So our analysis for liquidity ratio for the current ratio, Indofood current ratio for both year is higher than Unilever ratio. In terms of covering short-term obligation, Indofood appears to have a better ability. Okay, for the quick asset ratio, Indofood has sustainably higher quick asset ratio for both year compared to Unilever. This suggests that Indofood has better ability to cover its short-term obligation without relying on inventory compared to the Unilever. For the cash flow ratio, Indofood demonstrate a stronger cash flow ratio, indicating a better ability to cover short-term obligation with operating cash flow compared to the Unilever.
Okay, now we will discuss about the asset efficiency ratio of the two company. As we can see from the table, Unilever has higher asset turnover ratio, which signifies better asset utilization and efficiency in generating sales from the given asset base. Unilever also has higher inventory turnover, which indicates that Unilever is selling its inventory quickly, which can be beneficial in terms of liquidity and reducing holding cost, as we can see at the day's inventory, which is shorter than Indofood. And then Indofood has higher debtors turnover, shorter days debtor, higher creditors turnover, and shorter days creditor, which reflect in Indofood's effective management of working capital. They show the company's ability to balance its cash flows by collecting payments from customers promptly while efficiently managing its payables. And then as the result, Unilever has shorter activity and cash cycle, which implies that Unilever operates more efficiently than Indofood, optimizing its operational processes to swiftly convert investments into revenue and cash. Next. Now we will see the capital structure ratio. The first one is debt to equity ratio. Unilever has a higher ratio compared to Indofood in both 2021 and 2022, which this indicates that Unilever has a higher proportion of debt compared to its equity, whereas Indofood has a relatively lower proportion of debt compared to its equity. The second one is debt ratio. Similar to debt to equity ratio, Unilever also shows a higher debt ratio compared to Indofood in both 2021 and 2022. And this signifies that the total debt of Unilever is higher relative to its total assets. The last one is equity ratio. Unilever's equity ratio decreased from 2021 to 2022, while Indofood experienced an increase. This ratio depicts the proportion of total assets funded by equity. Unilever's decreasing equity ratio indicates a lower proportion of assets funded by equity, while Indofood shows an increasing trend. So in both years, Indofood displays a lower debt to equity ratio compared to Unilever. So therefore, based on this ratio alone, Indofood appears to have a more favorable or better capital structure and seems to have better management of debt and equity proportions in funding its assets compared to Unilever. Next, will be discussed by our friends Vanya. Thank you.
Okay, so I will be continuing my friend's presentation. From this slide, we will be discussing about profitability ratio between Unilever and Indofood. These are the aspects that we will discuss. And these are the numbers. The numbers are come from the formula from each aspects. So for the analysis, Unilever has a significantly higher ROE, meaning that the company is more efficient in generating profit from the capital it employs. But it is also because equity ratio in Unilever is lower than Indofood. We can see that from here. The equity ratio of Unilever is only 0.2, meanwhile the Indofood has equity ratio 0.5. So the denominator is lower, resulting in a higher ratio for Unilever. Second one is Unilever has a higher ROA, meaning that they utilize its assets more efficiently to generate profits more than Indofood. Unilever also has higher gross profit margin, indicates better cost control, and Unilever has a higher gross profit margin, signals that it retains a larger percentage of revenue as profit after all expenses. Unilever also has a higher cash flow to sales, suggests that they are more effective at converting sales into cash than Indofood. So for the profitability ratio, overall, Unilever has a higher profitability ratio than Indofood, indicating that the company is performing better according to the profitability ratio analysis. Okay, so before we already compare all of the ratio regarding to the financial information. So now we will see how about their non-financial performance by analyzing their sustainability. Okay, so for the sustainability report, both Unilever and Indofood have external independence assurance for their separated sustainability report. For their independence assurance report is issued by PT Mores Kolan Indonesia, both using PT Mores Kolan Indonesia, and also both have performance highlights based on their ESG aspects. Okay, so for how about their assessing their risk? For Unilever, there are no information regarding to what framework they use for assessing their risk. For Indofood, they are assessing their risk using TCFD framework. Okay, so Unilever has published their separated sustainability report since 2013. Even there are some years that they didn't issue any sustainability report. For Indofood, they have published separated sustainability reports since 2021. Okay, so now we will see how both of the company manage their waste. So for Unilever Indonesia, there adheres to a zero waste to landfill policy when managing waste from its manufacturing activities. So this approach ensures that no waste or non-hazardous waste generated by their factories and offices end up at landfills. Okay, so they are classifying their waste type and the management and how they manage their waste. They are divided their waste type into two types. There are solid waste and sludge. These are the list of actions that they do to manage their waste based on their waste type. So for the waste intensity, we can see that 2020 is they have successfully reduced their waste using the 2018 waste. But it is when we compare the waste intensity with 2020 and 2021, it is increased. Why? I think it is because in 2020 and 2021, most of the company is doing work from home, so that for their office that there are no activities regarding to their office, because we can see that this graphic only covers Unilever Indonesia's manufacturing activities, excluding their logistic and office activities. So based on the information above, we can conclude that Unilever has successfully reduced their waste in 2022. They also classified their waste type and how they manage it, and they have determined the targets they want to achieve regarding waste management. Okay, so Unilever also mentioned how they want their company to be waste-free from the waste. These are the initiatives that they use to achieve that target. Okay, so now we are going to see how about Indofood managing their waste. So Indofood is committed to the responsible management of all waste. As one of the largest producers of consumer goods in Indonesia, it is important to take steps to minimize the negative impacts of waste on the environment and communities. Okay, so now Indofood has only classified or presented their hazardous waste in their sustainability report, but we can see that they are classifying their hazardous waste. There are 5 components here, and they also mentioned about their hazardous waste intensity. Okay, so when we compare these two information, I think it is not apple to apple, because from the Unilever waste intensity, we can see that Unilever is reported their total waste, meanwhile the Indofood only reported the hazardous waste. From the total, I think we can see that Indofood is producing less waste than Unilever. Indofood also mentioned how and what initiatives they are doing to reduce their waste. These are the examples. And I think from the initiative, we can see that Indofood is more variative in doing the reducing waste management. So based on the information above, we can conclude that Indofood has successfully reduced their waste in 2022. For 2018 base year, they carry out many initiatives related to B3 waste management. Okay, so apart from that, as a consumer goods producer, Indofood also explained how they minimize their packaging waste. Okay, for the second aspects, we will be seeing how the company reporting their emissions. For the Unilever acknowledged that their business operations have significant impact on the environment, including the release of carbon gases and particulate matter, all of which contribute to greenhouse gas emissions and air pollution. To mitigate these impacts, they have taken proactive measures to reduce their carbon footprint and minimize carbon emissions. Their goal is to achieve net zero emissions by 2039, which is 11 years ahead of the 2015 Paris Agreement target for climate change. Okay, so in their sustainability report, they are reporting their emission intensity, amount and intensity of emission, and also produced by type, and how they trying to reduce their emission. This is there are several initiatives. Okay, so based on the information above, we can see that Unilever has significantly decreased their emission intensity in 2022 with various efforts. Okay, so now we are going to see how Indofood manage their emission. Indofood, a leading food and beverage company, is committed to minimizing its environmental footprint through a strategic and comprehensive emissions management program. Recognizing the impact of climate change and the importance of corporate responsibility, Indofood has implemented a series of measures to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and enhance sustainability throughout its operations. So these are what they published on their sustainability report. Okay, so for how they reduce their emission, they are they list that they have a program called biogas reactivation program with their farmers partners. So the main purpose of the process is to generate gas that is used for cooking and lighting by farmers. The byproduct liquid waste from the process can also be used as an organic fertilizer and can be applied directly to vegetation less than 2 weeks after it has been generated. Okay, so they also have the solar energy Bogasari Group, which has installed 4,600 square meters, of solar panels on the rooftop of one of its warehouses. Due to the combined environmental and financial benefits from implementation and understanding that there is potential to achieve over 102,000 gigajoule of lifetime energy, Bogasari hopes to expand the current photovoltaic capacity and will be further extending the solution to other facilities in the coming years. Indofood also mentioning about their GHG emissions and their GHG emissions intensity. And these are the initiatives that they use to reduce the emission that they produced. So based on the information on Indofood's 2022 sustainability report, they have produced 1.84 million ton carbon that consists of 82% direct emission and 18% indirect emission. Indofood also has many initiatives to reduce their emissions. So comparing to the Unilever, we can see that Unilever in the emission intensity graphic here, Unilever in 2022 is producing 15.56 emission. Meanwhile, Indofood only produced 0.112. So I think Indofood is better in terms of producing their emission because their emissions intensity is lower than Unilever. Okay, for the last topic that we will be discussed is the risk of climate change impact. So Unilever continue to actively seek out new low-carbon materials and reformulating their products to provide environmentally friendly alternatives. This includes developing plant-based foods and cleaning products that they do not rely on fossil fuels. Unilever is also focused on resource efficiency in their production processes to minimize greenhouse gas emissions. They have set ambitious targets to reduce their carbon footprint throughout their value chain, including a commitment to net zero emissions from all their products from sourcing to point of sale by 2039. They are also implementing energy efficient technologies in their factories and distribution centers to achieve their targets of zero emissions in their operations by 2030. So these are the programs that they proposed regarding to the climate change. So basically, they didn't assess any risk of these climate change in their sustainability report, but they claim these are the climate change action that they do. So there are green electricity programs, solar panels on Graha Unilever, utilizing biomass fuel, crude oil-free dishwash product reformulation, empowering coconut sugar farmers through sustainability agriculture practice. So Unilever claims that they are aware of the impact of the climate change that can affect its business. However, it seems that Unilever did not identify this risk in the risk management stated in its sustainability report, but they have a special section on their sustainability report named Climate Action, as I said before. So on their risk management, they have identified 11 key risks, also risk mitigation and review that consists of treasury, brand preference, external economy, legal and regulatory, industrial relations, talent and people, safe and high quality products, supply chain, portfolio management, and customer relationships. Okay, so for Indofood, they do classify, they do have a special sections for the climate change risk and sustainability risk. These are the statement that I found in their sustainability report. So Indofood, as a prominent player in the food and beverage industries, faces a range of risks associated with climate change. These risks are multifaceted and can impact various aspects of the company's operations, supply chain, and overall business resilience. Indofood has identified 9 top risks in 2022, consist of uncertainty of global economic condition risk, commodity and raw material price increase risk, COVID-19 pandemic risk, food safety risk, competition risk, global warming and climate change risk, sustainability risk, also cybersecurity risk. Okay, so now these are the pictures that I found in their sustainability report. One of their initiatives to reduce the climate change impact, they are mitigating their water scarcity risk through utilization of SWRO technology. Okay, so I think based on the risk of climate change impact aspect, we can see that based on their initiatives, I think Unilever has more initiatives than Indofood, because from the sustainability report, we can see that Indofood only state these 2 aspects, even they are identified these 2 aspects, but I think for the initiatives are too nominative comparing to Unilever. Okay, so I think based on the risk of climate change impact, Indofood is performing better. But overall, for the sustainability analysis, I think Indofood is more sustainable than Unilever. Okay, so for the conclusion, which one performs better regarding to the financial and non-financial information that we have discussed. Unilever is the company that performs better. Why? This is the summary of what we have analyzed before. So for the horizontal analysis, vertical analysis, profitability, and asset efficiency, Unilever is better, but for the liquidity, capital structure, and sustainability, Indofood is better. Okay, so these are the list of reference that we used to analyze this PowerPoint. Okay, so that's all from our group. Thank you for your attention and have a good day.